Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. We've made it everyone. Welcome to part 4, aka the grand finale of all my American Girl dolls for 2025. That's right, we've covered my historical dolls, my Girl of the Year dolls, and now it's the final batch for my Truly Me and Custom Squad to take the spotlight. So grab a snack, get cozy, and let's give these dolls their well-deserved moment to shine. Elowen, the Gothic Beauty. Elowen is my customized Truly Me number 62, and she has an air of mystery and Gothic romance. There's something so hauntingly beautiful about her, a doll that could belong in a Tim Burton film, a girl who dances under the pale moonlight in a grand abandoned ballroom. If I ever decide to give my dolls their own paranormal drama, you can bet Elowen would be the enigmatic leading lady. Georgina, the mermaid with a haunting stare. Georgina is a Molly doll with Julie's wig and googly eyes, but what truly makes her stand out is her mermaid origins. She is one of my signature horror story dolls, one of those eerie dolls that always seem to turn up in haunted doll tales. I like to imagine that Georgina was once a mermaid princess who lost her way and became trapped in the human world. Her large, unsettling eyes give her a mystical, almost eerie expression, as if she's seen things beyond our understanding. If you ever see her sitting in the dimly lit room, staring at you, just know she's watching. Valeria, the seer with a mysterious twin. Valeria is a Julie doll, but instead of her signature blonde locks, she has brown hair with bangs and googly eyes that give her an almost otherworldly presence. She often stars in my horror stories, playing the role of a seer, a doll who can predict the future, see beyond the veil, and know things that no one else does. But what makes her even more fascinating? She has a fraternal twin. Her sister Callisto is equally eerie, and together, they make a formidable pair of supernatural siblings. Freya, the Enchanted Elf. Freya is a customized Kit Kittredge doll, but she has been transformed into something truly magical. I turned her into an elf, complete with a gray doll-of-a-kind wig and my very own homemade googly eyes. She's not just any elf, she's a guardian of an ancient, mystical world. Her delicate features, combined with her ethereal gaze and hand-sewn dress made by my friend, make her look as if she's just stepped out of a fantasy novel. If my dolls had their own fairy tale, Freya would be the elven princess, protector of lost souls, and keeper of the forest's deepest secrets. Callisto, the other half of the prophecy. Callisto, a customized Truly Me number 47, is Valeria's fraternal twin, but she's far from identical. Her hair was cut short, but instead of ruining her look, it only added to her unusual charm. I gave her googly light blue eyes, making her appear almost supernatural, like she can see through time itself. She shares Valeria's gift of foresight. While her sister speaks in riddles, Callisto's vision are clear, chilling, and undeniable. In my horror stories, she's the one who warns others of the darkness to come. But will they listen? Suki, the Southern Vampire. Suki is one of the most intriguing dolls in my collection, not just because of her look, but because of her origins. I got her from Lots to See, and it seems like she was originally intended to be a Draculaura-inspired doll from Monster High. That alone intrigued me. So naturally, I decided to embrace the vampire aesthetic and turn her into a creature of the night. I named her after Suki Stackhouse from True Blood, a show I was absolutely obsessed with at the time. Suki Stackhouse was strong, independent, and had a knack for getting tangled up in supernatural trouble. It just felt like the perfect name for my gothic beauty. Now whenever I look at Suki, I felt the urge to rewatch True Blood and relive all the vampire drama. Maybe one day, I'll even create a doll-sized version of Fantasia just for her. These dolls may have started as ordinary American Girl dolls, but through creativity and a little imagination, they transform into supermodels, mermaids, witches, seers, and vampires. Each one has a unique story to tell, some glamorous, some mystical, and some downright chilling. Which one captivates you the most? Gloomy Sunday, the Queen of Horror. Gloomy Sunday is not just any doll. She's the star of my American Girl doll horror stories. She was the very first doll I gave stationary eyes from Doll of a Kind, and ever since then, she has been one of my most treasured creations. She's a witch, but not an evil one. She's more like a misunderstood outcast who lurks in the shadows, drawn to the eerie and the unknown. In a way, she reminds me of myself. We both have a love for the macabre, the supernatural, and all things spooky. I imagine her wandering through an abandoned Victorian mansion, her glowing eyes peering through the candlelit halls, whispering to the spirits only she can see. Morwenna, the Ghostly Beauty. Morwenna is my ghost doll, a spectral presence in my collection. She came from lots to see, and she was already dyed a haunting shade of blue when I got her. She was likely intended to be a corpse bride inspired doll, but I had my own vision for her. Her name comes from a gothic romance novel I read years ago. The name Morwenna stuck with me. It sounded so mysterious, so tragic, like a name whispered by the wind in an old abandoned castle. She has this melancholy aura about her, as if she's forever waiting for someone who will never return. I sometimes place her on my bookshelf next to my horror novels, where she belongs. Jupiter, the Alien Observer. Jupiter is my extraterrestrial doll, an alien among humans. Her entire look is based on the idea of a gray alien, a visitor from another world. Fun fact, I made her wig myself. I gathered doll hair, carefully arranged it, and decided to give her a truly out-of-this-world appearance. But what really makes her stand out are her large googly eyes. They make her look like she's always observing, analyzing, calculating, perhaps even plotting. I like to imagine that she was sent to Earth on a secret mission, hiding in plain sight as a doll in my collection. Maybe one day, she will reveal her true purpose. Ivelisse, the Lizard People Spy. Ivelisse is my Lizard People doll, based on the bizarre conspiracy theory that certain powerful figures are actually reptilian aliens disguised as humans. I love the idea that she's not just another doll, but an infiltrator, a shapeshifter, a being with a hidden agenda. She may look human now, but who knows what lies beneath that carefully crafted disguise. I sometimes joke that Ivelisse is secretly controlling my entire doll collection, subtly influencing the fates of all of my other dolls. Maybe one day, she'll reveal her true form and take over the world. Little Miss No Name, the Forgotten Wave. Little Miss No Name started out as a Kit Kittredge doll, but I transformed her into something much more tragic. I painted her body ghostly white with acrylic paint and gave her googly eyes to make her look more like the infamous Little Miss No Name doll from the 1960s. A doll that was meant to tug at the heartstrings, embodying a lost, abandoned child. She might not be flawless, but I do love her. There's something so hauntingly beautiful about her imperfection. Pearl, the Axe Murderer doll. Pearl may look innocent at first glance, but don't be fooled. She was named after one of the most unsettling characters in horror cinema. She's inspired by Pearl from the movie of the same name, an unhinged character with dreams of fame, a chilling smile, and a murderous streak. I like to imagine Pearl as a Victorian-era murderess, lurking in the shadows with an axe, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Maybe she's the reincarnation of Lizzie Borden herself. Every doll in my collection has a story. Some are spooky, some are inspired by dark fairy tales, and some are downright sinister. They are not just dolls. They are witches, ghosts, aliens, villains, and even lizard people. So let me introduce you to some of the most mysterious and fascinating dolls in my ever-growing collection. Corinne, the true villainess. Corinne was originally a Felicity Merriman doll, but I reimagined her as a cold, calculating villainess. She was named after the lead character from the manhwa Resetting Lady. Unlike most villainous redemption stories, this one features a lead who fully embraces her dark side. And honestly, I love that. She doesn't try to be good. She doesn't seek forgiveness. She seeks vengeance. Her straight brown wig gives her a severe, sophisticated look, like someone who always has a plan and is 3 steps ahead of their enemies. If my dolls had their own Game of Thrones style drama, Corinne would be the queen who sits on the throne, ruling with an iron fist. Arbony, the beauty queen I resisted. Arbony is a truly me number 29, and I named her after Arbony Gabriel, Miss Universe 2022. The truth? I didn't like her at first. I was firmly rooting for Celeste, who I believe deserved the crown. But in keeping with my tradition of naming dolls after reigning beauty queens, I reluctantly named my doll after her. Over time though, I've grown to appreciate her grace and confidence. And now Arbony, the doll, sits probably among my beauty queen inspired dolls. A reminder that sometimes, even the unexpected winners deserve their place in the spotlight. Ludmilla, the blue-eyed beauty. Ludmilla started out as a Samantha doll, but I gave her stunning blue eyes from DOLLS. And suddenly, she transformed into something even more enchanting. Her name Ludmilla sounds regal, like she belongs in a Russian fairy tale. I imagine her as a noble woman, a ballet dancer, or even a mysterious heiress with a secret past. She's simple, yet mesmerizing, and I love how her new eyes give her an entirely different persona. Soraya, a gift of friendship. Soraya is a Mary McEntire doll, but more importantly, she's a gift from a dear friend. In a world where generosity is rare, my friend Soraya gave me this doll for free, and that means the world to me. It's not just about the doll itself, it's about the kindness, the thoughtfulness, and the unexpected joy that came with receiving her. She's a reminder that some friendships are truly priceless. Finola. Finola is one of my most unique Kristen dolls, a true TLC rescue that I gave a second life. I re-wig her using a blonde bun topper, and while it gives her an unconventional, slightly quirky look, I absolutely adore her blonde afro. It adds so much personality to her. I imagine her as an absolute firecracker, bold, energetic, and always ready to dance to vintage tunes. If she were a real person, I picture her in a retro diner, twirling her skirt to some 1950s rock and roll on a jukebox. She'd be the one to drag you onto the dance floor, whether you're ready or not. From witches to ghosts to villains and beauty queens, my dolls are a reflection of my love for the eerie, the dramatic, and the unforgettable. They each have a story, a soul, a place in my world, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. So which one intrigues you the most? Esperanza is another Kirsten doll who came to me in a very TLC condition, but I saw her potential right away. I took a dark curly wig, resized it myself, and miraculously, it worked. Now she has this wild mane of curls that gives off serious chirp vibes, and maybe even cousin it from the Addams family. But in my mind, she's not just a pop star or a mysterious hairball. She's a mystical, voodoo-loving fortune teller who can read your fortune with just one glance. The name Esperanza means hope in Spanish. This fits her perfectly because I imagine her as someone who guides others through life's uncertainties with her tarot cards and wise words. Odette. Odette is a customized Yule doll, but she's far from ordinary. With her Caroline Abbott eyes, a mesmerizing shade of aquamarine, and her rich auburn curls from Doll of a Kind, she has an ethereal beauty that makes her stand out. But Odette isn't just about looks. She carries a story, a presence, a quiet strength that makes her one of the most captivating dolls I own. She's named after Odette from the manhwa Bastion, a character with resilience, elegance, and a quiet determination that speaks volumes. Like her namesake, my Odette has an air of tragic beauty, but also undeniable strength. There's something in her expression, a softness, yet a depth, that reminds me of a heroine who has weathered life's storms but refuses to be defined by them. I imagine her as someone who has lived through grand, sweeping changes, perhaps growing up in a world of privilege, only to be forced to navigate hardship with nothing but her wits and willpower. No matter how many times life tries to break her, she rises, poised and unshaken, like a phoenix from the ashes. In my collection, Odette is the quiet observer, the old soul, the one who carries untold stories in her gaze. When placed among my other dolls, she feels like she knows something they don't. Meet Arya, a doll as stunning as she is cunning. This is my customized Really Me number 6, but she's far from ordinary. With a Julie wig and delicate false eyelashes, she has an air of elegance and mystery, just like her namesake, Arya from the villainous Stirs Hourglass. If you know the manhwa, you'll understand why this name is perfect for her. Much like the clever and ambitious Arya from the story, my doll exudes grace, but also a quiet determination. She's the type of doll who would sit in the finest silk gown, sipping tea, all while secretly orchestrating a brilliant plan behind the scenes. She carries herself with an effortless charm, but trust me, she always has something up her sleeve. Fun fact, Ira isn't just a special name in my doll collection. It's also the name of my beautiful Persian cat. Maybe it's a coincidence, or maybe I just have a thing for naming my most elegant, slightly mischievous girl after powerful fictional characters. Either way, this Arya, much like her feline counterpart, has a way of capturing attention and leaving an unforgettable impression. Rowan is my Rubik Truly Me number 13, and I don't think I've ever seen a doll with a face that looks so pure, baby-like, and sweet. She has this gentle, innocent expression that makes her seem like the kind of doll who would always be there to help others, even if she's too shy to say much. I picture her as that quiet, soft-spoken friend who might hesitate to speak up, but when she does, it's always something wise and heartfelt. She's the kind of doll you'd trust with your deepest secrets, knowing she'd never betray you. Damsel is my Truly Me number 35, and as you can probably guess, she's named after the Netflix hit Damsel, starring Millie Bobby Brown. I thought about naming her after the main character, but let's be honest, that name wasn't exciting enough for a doll like her. So why not name her after the whole movie instead? I also read the book, and between the two, I have to say, the book wins. The pacing, the tension, and the way the story unfolded were just so much better. If Dancel were a real person, I think she'd be the fierce, brave warrior princess who refuses to be saved. She'd much rather save herself. Ines is a rewig and customized Josefina Montoya. But I'm not completely satisfied with her current wig. I feel like it doesn't capture her fiery and bold personality the way I wanted it to. Ines, in my opinion, is a total spitfire, the type of girl who could just talk so fast you'd never get a word in. I picture her as someone with lightning fast wit, strong opinions, and the ability to out-argue everyone in a debate. She's got that unapologetic confidence that I admire so much. So I'm on a mission to find a new wig that truly reflects her sass, energy, and undeniable presence. My collection is always evolving, filled with dolls that have fascinating backstories, special transformations, and even a few happy accidents. Some of these dolls were painstakingly restored, while others became part of my collection through unexpected discoveries. Here are a few more dolls with their own unique journeys. Sylvia is my truly be number 17, and I named her after one of my favorite manhwa characters from I Became an Ugly Princess. There's something about her that feels delicate yet strong, like a porcelain doll that could shatter if handled too roughly. But don't be fooled. Underneath that shy, soft-spoken exterior is a girl with a hidden fire. Sylvia is a hopeless romantic and has a major sweet tooth. If she were real, I'd imagine she'd be the type to sneak cookies at midnight while reading love poems by candlelight. But despite her gentle nature, she's got a temper. Push her buttons the wrong way and suddenly, that timid, blushing girl transforms into a fierce storm. Perishati is my truly me number 25, but I wanted to set her apart from my first 25, so I decided to curl her wig, and the difference is striking. I named her after the main character from the manhwa. My in-laws are obsessed with me. Funny enough, I never actually finished that manhwa because I got bored halfway through, but the name Perishati stuck with me. There's something so mysterious and elegant about it, just like my doll. In my imagination, Perishati is deeply suspicious of everyone. She's reserved, calculating, and doesn't trust easily. Life has taught her that people can be fickle and deceitful. But there's one exception: animals. She adores them because she knows they will never betray her. I picture her as the kind of person who prefers the company of her loyal pet fox or an elegant white owl over people any day. Sasheen started out as a Julia Albright doll, but I gave her a brown wig, and she took on an entirely new identity. I named her after Sasheen Littlefeather, a woman of incredible strength, dignity, and advocacy. Like her namesake, my Sasheen possesses a quiet yet undeniable presence, one that demands respect without raising her voice. I imagine her as someone who stands firm in her beliefs, always carrying herself with grace and purpose. Perhaps if she were real, she'd be the type of person who would deliver powerful speeches, champion important causes, and inspire those around her. Damaris is a Marie Grace base, but with a short Julie wig, and a sprinkle of freckles across her face. She's become something entirely her own. Her name comes from a character in a novel I read years ago, a name that somehow never left me, lingering in my mind like a whisper from the past. I see my Damaris as a girl with a deep love for nature, the kind who would wake up early to water her plants, watch the sunrise with a cup of tea, and spend hours exploring the woods, marveling at the tiniest details of the world around her. She adores bugs and finds beauty in the smallest creatures that others might overlook. I like to imagine that if she could talk, she'd always have an interesting fact about some obscure insect or a rare flower she just discovered on her latest adventure. Solveig. Now here is someone who practically belongs in a winter wonderland. Solveig. She started out as a Kanani doll, but with a striking blonde wig, she took on a whole new Nordic charm. The name Solveig felt perfect for her, evoking images of snowy landscapes, cozy cabins, and warm mugs of hot cocoa by the fire. She is Swiss, and winter is in her element. She loves nothing more than making snowmen, twirling effortlessly on the ice, and gazing up at the stars on clear, crisp nights. She's an astrology lover too, always looking to the skies for guidance. I picture her reading horoscopes for her friends, warning them about Mercury retrograde, and finding deep meaning in the constellations above. If she were real, she probably had a telescope set up by her bedroom window, whispering her wishes to the stars. Shanice is a truly me number 43, but with her maroon wig, she radiates confidence and power. She is named after Shanice Palacios, Miss Universe 2023, and much like the incredible woman she is inspired by, my doll exudes grace, poise, and undeniable strength. I imagine her as someone who walks into a room and immediately commands attention, not because she asks for it, but because her presence is simply magnetic. She believes in hard work, resilience, and dreaming big. She's a leader, a role model, and an unstoppable force, always striving to be the best version of herself. Whether she's wearing a glittering gown or a simple casual outfit, she carries herself like a queen in every sense of the word. Each one of my dolls had been transformed with love, creativity, and a little bit of trial and error. Seriously, swapping wigs is not as easy as it looks. Customizing dolls allows me to bring my imagination to life, and I can't wait to share more of my unique creations with you. Which of my customs is your favorite? Do you have any customs in your collection? Let me know in the comments! Ariadne is my customized Julimi number 49, and she has a bit of a rough start. Her hair was cut, and at first, I wasn't sure what to do with it. Then inspiration struck. I curled it into this short bouncy bob, and suddenly, she had so much personality. I named her after the main character from Sister, I Am the Queen in This Life, my absolute favorite manhwa. The character is a villainess with a golden heart, cunning and vengeful, but only against those who wronged her. I imagine my Ariadne in the same way. She's a mirror, reflecting the attitude of those in front of her. Treat her with kindness, and she will be your most loyal ally. Trust her, and she will ensure you regret it for the rest of your days. Sir Edwin is my customized Trulimi number 24, but much like what I did with Esperanza, I resized an adult caramel-colored wig to give her a fresh new look. But Sir Edwin isn't just an ordinary doll. She is a runaway princess from the 16th century who defied fate herself. Forced into an unwanted marriage with a cruel nobleman, she took her destiny into her own hands and fled into the unknown. As she journeyed through misty forests and cobblestone streets, she encountered a man who was her equal in every way. Fierce, intelligent, and capable of true love. In my mind, she's a dreamer, a risk-taker, and a rebel with a cause. Nabie is my customized Rulimi number 27, and I decided to curl her wig to give her an air of regality. She's named after Navie, the main character from the Remarried Empress, one of the most dignified and intelligent heroine in manhwa history. Navie is not just a queen in title. She embodies what it means to rule with grace, wisdom, and unyielding strength. No man, no betrayal, no injustice could ever break her spirit. My Navie doll exudes that same energy. She stands tall, her presence commanding respect, her elegant demeanor unshaken by the chaos around her. If she were real, she'd be the kind of woman whose mere glance could silence a room, whose wisdom could rival even Confucius himself. Yumila is my customized Woody Smittens. She has this dark, brooding aura that makes her stand out from the rest. To give her a more unique look, I curled up her wig, making her distinct from my other Ruti doll. Her name comes from an anime character, Yumila Darkness. From the villainess level 99, I may be the hidden boss, but I'm not the demon lord. Just like her namesake, my Yumila seems intimidating, mysterious, and maybe a little scary to others. Not because she's actually mean, but because she's just so effortlessly good at everything. She's the kind of person who aces every test without even studying, picks up a new skill instantly, and walks with a quiet confidence that makes others uneasy. But beneath that seemingly untouchable exterior, she's lonely, kind-hearted, and longing for connection. Despite her intimidating presence, she's just like everyone else, only better. Luxuria is my customized Yuli Albright doll, and I originally wanted her to have an angelic and saintly appearance. I gave her a platinum white wig and these stunning violet eyes, thinking she would radiate an almost otherworldly grace. But for some reason, I just couldn't bond with her. No matter how much I tried to connect with Luxuria's look, the white hair never felt right. So I've been considering rewigging her soon. Maybe something warmer, something more her. Despite our rocky start, she holds a special place in my collection because she's named after one of my favorite YouTubers, Luxeria. Every time I watch her, I find myself cracking up at her hilarious commentary and her iconic catchphrases like girly wigs and death. I like to imagine my doll Luxuria has the same kind of wit. Sharp, dramatic, and always ready with a perfectly timed reaction. Amelie is a TLC Samantha doll who came to me with her wig cut with microbangs and a bowl cut. Most people would have immediately re-wigged her, but something about that quirky, slightly offbeat look completely captivated me. She reminded me so much of Amelie Poplin, the title character from Amelie, one of my favorite films. Like the Audrey tattoo character, my Amelie seems quiet and reserved on the outside, but beneath that shy demeanor is a girl with an imaginative and whimsical soul. I picture her as someone who notices the tiny magical moments in everyday life, like the way sunlight filters through lace curtains or how the first sip of coffee feels on a cold morning. She's the type of person to leave anonymous kind gestures for others while secretly longing for a connection of her own. She may not be a conventional beauty, but there's something so uniquely charming about her that I wouldn't change a thing. Eveness is a truly me number 30 doll, and I named her after the main character from the manhwa, How to Clear a Dating Sim, as a side character. At first glance, she seems meek and unassuming, like someone who let others walk all over her. She nods along, goes with the flow, and never seems to protest. But here's the twist. She's actually quietly scheming the entire time. She's the ultimate strategist, always 10 steps ahead while everyone thinks they're just controlling her. My Eveness carries the same deceptive charm. She seems like a sweet, harmless background character, but in reality, she's playing the long game, waiting for the perfect moment to turn the tables. There's something so satisfying about a character like that. The ones who buy their time, endure the nonsense, and then deliver a final move so masterful that everyone is left in shock. Meldenick is a customized Rebecca Rubin, and I named her after the main character from the manhwa The Villainess's Stationery Shop. Unlike most so-called villainesses, Meldenick is actually a sweetheart. Her only crime is loving beautiful things and being far too generous for her own good. She adores stationeries, cakes, and candies. And if she lived in our world, I imagine she'd be the type to own a cozy little bookstore filled with pastel-colored notebooks and vintage fountain pens. My Meldenique carries the same name. My Meldenique carries the same soft, wholesome energy. She's the doll who would bake cookies for her friends, Every one of them holds a special place in my collection, whether because of their unique looks, meaningful names, or custom outfits. There are still so many more to share. Which doll from this batch is your favorite? Let me know. Atanisha is my customized Mia Sinclair doll, and I named her after Atanisha the Alger Obelia, the main character from one of my all-time favorite manhwas, Who Made Me a Princess. Just like her namesake, my doll exudes grace, poise, and an undeniable charm that instantly wins people over. She carries herself with an air of refinement and savoir-faire, never letting her guard down too easily. Atanisha is the type who can walk into any room and instinctively adapt, blending in seamlessly while secretly assessing every detail and every person around her. Though she has an outgoing and sunny disposition, make no mistake, she's no naive damsel. She's calculating and shrewdly observant, quick to read people and adjust her actions accordingly. If she senses danger, she won't run. She'll outmaneuver it. She reminds me of the kind of heroine who smiles sweetly but effortlessly dismantling her enemies without them even realizing it. That despite her sharp mind, her greatest strength is her genuine love for those she holds dear. She doesn't just play the game of survival. She plays it with a heart, proving that kindness and intelligence can coexist beautifully. Kayana is my Chulimi number 3, and she was inspired by Kayana Hill, the brilliant and strategic protagonist from The Villainess is a Marionette. Kayana is a performer at heart. She thrives in the spotlight and has an innate talent for the arts. Whether it's singing, dancing, or playing instruments like the guitar, piano, or even the Chinese setter, she does it all with an effortless grace that leaves people completely mesmerized. But don't be fooled by her elegant presence on stage. Behind that dazzling smile is a sharp mind that never misses a single detail. Like her manhwa counterpart, Kayana is intelligent, observant, and always thinking 5 steps ahead. She knows when to play the modest, soft-spoken princess, and when to reveal her cunning and manipulative side to get what she wants. If life were a chess game, she'd be the one setting up intricate traps, making others believe they are in control while secretly pulling every string. But unlike most who manipulate for selfish reasons, Kayana uses her sharp wit to protect those she loves, making her a true strategist with a golden heart. Hellis is my Emily Bennett doll, and she carries an aura of quiet power, named after Hellis Inuaden from Solitary Lady. She's the embodiment of cold elegance and unshakable resolve. Unlike my other dolls, who may have sunny or playful personalities, Hellis is detached, distant, and impossible to read. She has learned through harsh experience that attachment can be dangerous, so she keeps her emotions buried deep beneath an icy exterior. But don't mistake her coldness for indifference. Hellis has a strong moral code. Though she doesn't express it in traditional ways, if she cares for someone, she will protect them fiercely, even if it means getting blood on her hands. She has no hesitation to eliminate threats without second thought, yet she is not entirely heartless. Beneath the ruthless exterior lies a deep well of emotions, carefully concealed until the rare moment she chooses to reveal them. Hellis reminds me of a warrior queen, unapologetically strong, calculating, and not afraid to do what needs to be done. Chelsea is my Kit Kittredge doll, but she's one of the few dolls in my collection that I haven't customized at all. Normally, I love personalizing my dolls, but Chelsea arrived in such perfect condition that I couldn't bring myself to change a single thing. Her wig is pristine, her face is lovely, and she just exudes this classic, timeless beauty that I didn't want to alter. Instead of customizing her, I decided to dress her up in a special Harley Quinn outfit that my dear friend Rosie sewed for me. It's easily one of my favorite costumes in my collection. It fits her so perfectly, that it almost feels like it was just made for her. I named her after Chelsea Manalo, the Miss Universe Philippines 2024, because I always make it a tradition to name at least one doll after the reigning queen in the year that I got them. There's something poetic about it, as if each doll carries the spirit of that year's champion. I like to imagine that if Chelsea were a real person, she'd have that same confidence, grace, and quiet strength that makes a beauty queen unforgettable. Atisa is my Kaylee Hopkins doll, and like Chelsea, she's another doll I simply could not bear to customize. There's something about her that feels perfect as she is, and every time I consider changing her, I hesitate. Instead, I decided to dress her like a truly me, allowing her to stand out in her natural beauty. I named her after Atisa Manalo, a sentimental favorite in the pageant world. Atisa has already represented the Philippines in Miss International and Miss Cosmo, but now she's taking another shot at the crown, Miss Universe Philippines, for the third time. I can't help but admire that kind of determination and resilience. I love the idea of my Atisa doll embodying the same spirit, that perseverance to keep chasing her dreams, no matter how many times she has to try. It makes me wonder, will this finally be Atisa's year to shine? Whether she wins or not, she already has my admiration, and I think my doll perfectly reflects that same unwavering spirit. Christine Julian is my customized Truly Me number 23 doll, and I named her after CJ Opiasa, one of my all-time favorite beauty queens. CJ has always been someone I admired, not just for her stunning presence on stage, but for her sheer determination and ability to command attention effortlessly. She may not have taken home the ultimate crown, but she won something far more valuable, the admiration and respect of so many people. In the same way, Kristen Julian carries that same aura of quiet power and resilience. She's the kind of doll who would walk into a room and immediately capture everyone's gaze. Whether she's dressed in a shimmering evening gown or a sleek power suit, she radiates confidence, elegance, and a type of unshakable ambition. Imagine her being the type who never lets setbacks define her, always pushing forward with grace and determination. To me, she's a true embodiment of excellence, not just in how she looks, but in the way she carries herself, the way she inspires, and the way she never stops striving for more. Cornelia is another customized Truly Me number 23, but I gave her a Julie wig and completely redrew her eyebrows to make her stand out from my first one. Her transformation was one of my most satisfying projects. I love how something as simple as a wig swap and an eyebrow redo can create a whole new personality. I named her after Cornelia, the main character in the manhwa, This Villainess Wants a Divorce. Like her namesake, my Cornelia is not the type to sit around and let life happen to her. She's bold, fiercely independent, and not afraid to make dramatic decisions to secure her own happiness. I picture her as the kind of doll who would never be content with being a side character in someone else's story. She takes control, makes bold moves, and refuses to let others dictate her fate. Her rebellious streak might make her seem more intimidating, but deep down, Cornelia has a strong sense of justice and a heart that refuses to settle for less. She's the kind of doll who would fight for what she believes in, even if it means going against the expectations of an entire kingdom. Chappell Roan is my customized Truly Me number 53. Her transformation came with a surprising twist. When I finished working on her, I suddenly realized I had unintentionally made her look like Mia Farrow in Rosemary's Baby. It was completely unplanned, but when I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. At first, I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but then I thought, why not just embrace it? I actually love horror movies, and Rosemary's Baby is a classic. So in a way, it felt like a happy accident. Now Chappell Roan is my horror-inspired queen, and I absolutely love how she turned out. Despite her eerie resemblance to a horror movie icon, Her name and personality are all about energy and fun. I named her after Chapel Roan, an artist whose music is absolutely on fire right now. Her songs are bold, upbeat, and unapologetically unique. And that's exactly how I picture my Chapel Roan doll. She's the life of the party, a little eccentric, and not afraid to stand out in a crowd. Whether she's belting out a high-energy song or starring in a horror-themed photoshoot, she's always a showstopper. Telvig is my Joss Kendrick doll, and I named her after Victoria Telvig, the winner of Miss Universe 2024. However, I didn't want to use the name Victoria because I have this strange but strong feeling that American Girl might release an official doll with that name one day. Just a gut instinct. So instead, I opted for her last name, Telvig, which has such a strong and unique sound. Telvig is proudly Swedish and embraces everything about her culture. I imagine her walking through snow-covered streets in a stylish winter coat, sipping on warped glögg on a Christmas market, or celebrating midsummer with flower crowns and traditional dances. She carries herself with the poise and confidence of a true Miss Universe, always ready to represent her heritage on a global stage. She's the kind of doll who loves to travel, experience new cultures, and make friends all from all over the world. But at the end of the day, Sweden is always home, and she carries its spirit with her wherever she goes. Rosaria is my customized McKenna Williams doll, and one of the most exciting transformations. Straightened her hair using a clothes steamer, and I have to say, I was so nervous about doing it at first, but once I saw the results, I was beyond thrilled. The sleek, smooth hair completely transformed her look, making her even more striking than before. I named her after Rosaria, the main character from the manhwa, The Villain's Beloved Daughter. But just like her namesake, my Rosaria is wrapped in an air of mystery and intrigue. She's the type of doll who holds her secrets close to her heart, always keeping people guessing about her true intentions. She may have been born in a world of villains, but that doesn't mean she's destined to follow the same dark path. Will she embrace her lineage, or will she carve her own destiny? With her new sleek look and enigmatic personality, Rosaria has quickly become one of my most fascinating dolls. I love how her presence alone demands attention. There's just something about her that makes you want to know her story. Ishana is my truly me number 28, and she carries a name that holds a deep, eerie weight. I named her after the main character from the manhwa, I See Your Death. And just like her namesake, there's something about her that makes you feel like she knows more than she lets on. She has this calm yet mysterious aura, as if she's always watching, always analyzing the world around her. I sometimes imagine her sitting quietly in the corner of a crowded cafe, stirring her coffee absentmindedly while reading people like an open book. Maybe she has an almost supernatural intuition, sensing things before they happen. If she were a real person, I have no doubt that she would be the one to whisper, "Be careful tonight," with that knowing look, only for you to narrowly avoid some strange, coincidental misfortune later. Even though she seems serious, there's an underlying kindness to her. She doesn't just observe, she wants to help, to change the fate she sees unfolding, and that's what makes her truly special. Ashtart is a Rebecca Rubin doll with a Kirsten wig. And let me tell you, this combination completely transformed her. The moment I put that wig on, it was as if she was reborn into something otherworldly, something celestial. I named her after the main character from the manhwa Ashtart, and just like her, my doll radiates a delicate, almost divine beauty. She looks like she belongs in an ancient palace, perhaps as a mystical princess with a destiny greater than anyone can imagine. Her pale, soft features gives her an ethereal look as if she stepped out of a moonlit dream. Despite her angelic presence, Ashtart has strength within her. She is resilient, determined, and far wiser than her years suggest. I imagine her standing at the top of a castle balcony, looking over her kingdom with both sorrow and hope in her eyes, carrying the weight of her fate, but never letting it crush her. Artesia is my truly me number 55, and naming her was an easy choice. She takes her name from the cunning protagonist of the manhwa, The Villainous Lives Twice, and honestly, I think she would be flattered by the comparison. Artesia is not your typical villainess. She's a master of strategy, a woman who plays the long game. I like to think that if she were a real person, she'd always be 10 steps ahead of everyone else, subtly pulling the strings while letting others believe that they're in control. She has this poised, composed demeanor, but underneath it all, she's meticulously plotting her next move. I imagine her sitting at an antique wooden desk, surrounded by maps, letters, and books filled with cryptic notes. Perhaps she enjoys a game of chess, not for fun, but because it sharpens her ability to anticipate the opponent's every action. She's the type of doll who would never allow herself to be a mere pawn. She will always be the one controlling the board. Yes, I now have two truly me number 55 dolls. What a turn of events! From having none to suddenly acquiring two. It seems fate decided I needed twin powerhouses in my collection. Patricia is named after the lead character in Lady the Queen, and she shares the same unyielding determination and quiet grace as her namesake. While Artesia is a strategist working behind the scenes, Patricia is the one who walks into a room and commands respect without saying a word. I envision her as a queen who never needed a crown to prove her worth, the kind of person who could bring an entire court to silence with just a glance. She doesn't need to shout or threaten. Her presence alone is enough to assert dominance. Yet beneath her regal composure, she has a softness for those she holds dear. I imagine her in deep royal blues and silvers, embodying the elegance of nobility while carrying the strength of a ruler who would do whatever it takes to protect her people, her family, and her legacy. Petronilla is a rewigged Kit Kittredge doll, and she was one of the biggest customization projects yet. Not only did I carefully choose a new wig for her, but I also went the extra mile and gave her a full face-up, making her truly one of a kind. To complete her transformation, I dressed her in stunning, one-of-a-kind ensemble designed by my talented friend Rosie. I actually saw this design floating around on Facebook, and when I showed it to Rosie, I half-jokingly said, "Wouldn't this look incredible on Petronilla?" To my surprise, Rosie brought the vision to life, stitch by stitch. Now Petronilla has an outfit so unique and eye-catching that no other doll in my collection could ever pull it off the same way. Her name comes from Lady the Queen, where she is the twin sister of Patricia. While many might assume she would be overshadowed by her powerful sibling, Petronilla has carved out her own identity, her own strengths, and her own ambitions. She's the master of reinvention, never afraid to step out of someone else's shadow and prove that she is just as formidable. I like to think that she and Patricia balance each other out, one embodying royal grace, the other a quiet but determined fire. They may be twins, but their paths are entirely their own. Osiria started out as a Julia Albright doll, but after swapping out her wig for Sage Copeland's, something incredible happened. She transformed into Blair Wilson's doppelganger. I hadn't intended for it to happen, but the resemblance is very uncanny. The moment I saw her, I knew she had this gentle, yet inquisitive aura, like someone with a million thoughts running through her mind at any moment. I named her after the main character in the manhwa, The Princess in the Attic, a girl who, much like Osiria, has much more depth than people initially assume. There's something secretive about her, as if she's quietly keeping a story just waiting to unfold. Maybe she's the type who enjoys curling up in a sunlit corner with a book, lost in worlds far beyond her own, yet still acutely aware of the people around her. It's funny how sometimes a doll's personality reveals itself through small coincidences. I never meant for her to look like Blair, but now I can't imagine her looking any other way. Dodo He came to me as a TLC Truly Me number 60, and at first, I genuinely didn't know if I could fix her. She was in such rough shape that I almost thought she was beyond saving, but something about her made me want to try, even if it meant a long and challenging restoration process. Even now, she's still a work in progress, but that makes me love her even more. She embodies resilience, a doll who refuses to be discarded or forgotten. I named her after Dodo He from the K-drama My Demon, because just like her namesake, she has a fierce, independent spirit and she refuses to back down. There's a fire in her, the kind that makes you root for her even when the odds are stacked against her. Every time I work on her, I feel like I'm slowly piecing together a story of survival and strength, making her even more special. Clytemnestra is one of the most ambitious customizations I've ever done, and she's proof that patience and determination pay off. She arrived to me in pieces, literally. She had no eyes, no wig, and no legs. All I had was a torso and arms, and for a very long time, I wondered if I will be able to bring her back to life. For almost a year, she remained incomplete, sitting on my shelf like a puzzle, waiting to be solved. Then finally, I got my hands on a set of legs, and with a deep breath and a lot of courage, I did my very first doll lip stringing. I have always been afraid to try it. What if I messed up? What if I made things worse? But to my surprise, it was easier than I thought. And just like that, Clytemnestra was whole again. Naming her was an easy choice. Clytemnestra, the powerful and tragic queen of Greek mythology. She was a woman of unmatched strength, someone who carved her own path even when history painted her in the shadows. I like to imagine my doll shares the same unbreakable whim, a silent force who stands tall despite everything she's been through. She is a doll who refused to be abandoned, who reclaimed her own story, and for that, she'll always be one of my most meaningful creations. Medea started as a Truly Me number 23, but after customizing her with a Julie wig and newly redrawn eyebrows, she became something else entirely. The moment I finished, I stepped back and thought, wow, she looks like she could destroy lives and not even blink. And that's exactly why I named her Medea after the iconic protagonist in the manhwa Your Throne. Medea's salon is calculating, intense, and always in control. And my doll embodies that same fiery presence. She isn't afraid to be bold. Wherever she goes, she takes up so much space, commands attention, and refuses to let everyone underestimate her. I imagine her walking through a grand ballroom in a striking crimson dress, meeting people's gazes head-on as they whisper about her behind their fans. Let them talk. Medea always has the upper hand. Of all my dolls, she's probably the one with the most in-your-face energy. And honestly, I absolutely love that for her. Last but certainly not the least, we have London, my Truly Me number 27, who now sports a wig from Truly Me number 37 that I trimmed and restyled. I carefully adjusted the part so it sits in the middle, giving her a sleek, polished look that feels effortlessly chic. London's name isn't from a character, it's from a dream. I've always wanted to visit the city, to wander through its streets, explore its history, and soak in the culture. Naming her London felt like a little promise to myself. One day, I'll make that trip. In my mind, London the doll is a world traveler, the type who always has a suitcase packed and a passport ready. Maybe she spends her morning in cozy little cafes, sipping tea and journaling about her adventures. Maybe she gets lost on purpose, finding hidden gems tucked away in the city's winding streets. She's the doll who represents dreams waiting to be fulfilled. And every time I see her, I feel just a little closer to making mine a reality. And that's a wrap on part 4, aka the grand finale of all my American Girl dolls for 2025. I hope you love meeting my Truly Me and custom crew, as well as my historicals and Girl of the Year dolls, as much as I love showing them off. These dolls are so special because they represent creativity, individuality, and let's be honest, my complete and total inability to stop adding to my collection. Will I say this is my last doll and then immediately find another must-have? Probably. Will I run out of shelf space before I run out of love for AG dolls? Absolutely. Will I ever stop? Let's not lie to ourselves. But in all seriousness, American Girl dolls are more than just dolls. They're stories, they're memories, and they're a reminder that no matter how old you are, you should always embrace what makes you happy. Thank you for watching, for supporting my collection, and for joining me on this AG adventure. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which doll was your favorite. And should I get another one? Not that I need encouragement, but just curious. See you in the next video. Bye!